we're live. Okay, yeah, we're live. All right, so by request from my friend Kiefer, gonna go over my setup. Let me turn some lights on. Bing. I use two lights specifically for my green screen, and two that are more foreground lights, and then my monitor produces quite a bit of light as well. Sound is probably the hardest thing to get right. I mean, if you've ever watched someone who sounds bad, they're, because of technical reasons, it's just hard to watch. This is one of the best entry level-ish. This is like I want to say it's a $350 mic, but it has a built-in pop filter and a little bit of isolation. So as I move this around, you don't pick up a lot of vibration in the sound from the arm and the pieces moving. That runs to what I got. Let's see, can I actually... Oh man, this is quite a mess. So I have a Scarlett. Man, my cords aren't quite long enough for this, and I've got them tangled up. Scarlett. What is this? This is a 212 Scarlett Solo. Wow, it's dusty too. 212. It's a little bit old. It works as an amplifier for the microphone. It's for a microphone like this or the Electro. Oh man, it's been so long since I thought about these things. E20. I can't remember the name of the manufacturer, but basically, you use an XLR cable to run into this, and then it uses a USB cable to connect to the computer, and then the computer it recognizes it as a sound source. Did I just... Okay. For the camera, I was for a long time just using... I thought I had it around here somewhere. A Logitech 310, which is not great, but it's good enough unless you're going to be doing full screen stuff at 1080p or maybe even 720. It might be good enough for that, but if you're going to have your face big on a screen, it's going to start looking grainy with the 310. There's a 900 series, which I think most streamers use if they don't have a better camera. And at one point, I thought I was going to be doing a lot of recording, so a little bit fancy. With this Focusrite and this microphone, you might be better off getting an additional booster like a Fethead or Cloud Lifter that brings the volume, it's gain, but it brings the volume up of the microphone without introducing noise into the signal, so that you don't have to, like mine, I've got it rocked out to like 9.5, almost 10. So if I needed to turn it up anymore, I kind of couldn't. And even with that, we'll get into audio settings a little bit later. I've got to play with my audio settings in the OBS software. The camera I have is, it's over here. No, there it is. Okay, is a Canon Rebel. Canon has software for remote shooting. Let's go to the lobby. That's in the way, so we go here. We turn this on. So this is what my camera produces. It's Canon software. I'm sure Sony and everyone else that's a big name camera company has some kind of computer interface software for their cameras. So I've got a cord running from the camera, a USB connection to the computer, and then I use this software to use live shooting which produces this bigger window. And then what I do is I capture the window. This is going to get recursive. So if we go to here, the show, and go down to Canon, I have it labeled as Canon, and we look at the properties, we can see that this is captured as a window. Like if we wanted to add a new one, it's not a display, it's a window. So this could be any program that you have open, basically. The audio settings can be pretty simple, but they make a difference, and they can also, if you're trying to use like a regular desktop microphone and you're trying to get good quality sound into your stream with that, it's going to be difficult. With what I have set up with this microphone, the Focusrite, going into the computer, that's almost all I need, but I changed some settings to try to make it sound a little bit better and a little bit, there's a fly in here, a little bit louder in the show, in the program. So I have this captured as a window, and then I have to specify, oh, this is automatic match. Okay, that is annoying. I'm a little surprised that it doesn't say what window it is, but that's what that does. And then filters. So with the filter, I've got the chroma key here. So if we're looking, you can see from this window here that I've got a green screen behind me and a pink screen over there and another pink poster board over there. If we turn that off, and getting this setting just right, if you don't have perfect lighting, can be really difficult. But I've seen other people use the green screen so you can see the game or whatever is their general screen behind them. I like that, so that's what I do. You don't have to do that. A lot of people show their room, like Oxhorn, for instance. So we can turn that off, or we can. Then I also have color correction to try to get my skin looking a little more human. With limitations of lighting can make that difficult. So, and I'm afraid to touch any of this because it was hard enough to get it this good. One thing about that is, I think there's something here where, no, I don't see it, but I thought there was something that I had to do to prevent the camera, because it has a microphone, from introducing audio. And wow, I'm having some dropped frames. Interesting. From introducing audio from the camera's microphone into the computer. I don't remember how I sorted that out. It's probably in here. I probably have it muted and off a display. Unhide all. No, it's not there. Anyway, I thought it was there, but it's not. And then these different tracks, that's more for recording than for broadcasting. Now, with OBS, any window that you want to size or crop, you can obviously drag corners or sides, but then you'll notice that the picture of me is not the same as this here because it's much wider. But I don't want that pink board showing. This is mirror mode. So the way to get around that is, since it's a window that we have introduced here, we can hold Alt and stretch it, or crop it, I should say, because we're not really changing the picture itself. I've got a lot of stuff in it, but I've kind of been working on it for years. I'm not sure why that froze. Probably because I minimized this. If you minimize this, then the computer stops picking it up. You just have to click away from it. Where did we go? There we are. So yeah, now this is in motion again. And you can do this with basically any video source or window. And then the video source will usually have some sort of settings and tweaks itself as well. You can see I've got this volume all the way up for the microphone. Now, where is the microphone? I think I have it labeled Shure. And yeah, this is sloppy. I've got a lot of stuff in here I don't need. All right, so here's the microphone. And that is, as you can see, it's got a microphone icon. So that's just going to be, is it audio source? Audio input capture. And then designate the device and use timestamps. I can't remember why you use timestamps. And then there's also a way, because your camera and audio input don't always sync up right, there's a way to fix that. And I can't remember what it is now, but there is a way to do that. So that's the basics other than your games. If you're just wanting to do games, then you're probably going to want to enter it as a game. If it doesn't work this way, then again, you can do it as a window and then specify what window you're going to use. If it doesn't fit to the screen, what the same scene as whatever I was doing, but then every time I added a game, then that was one more thing in that scene to keep track of. And as you can see, I've got too much to keep track of already. So I found it was better to create specific scenes for things like so I can go to background and set up whatever background I want and then include that scene in, well, you're not going to be able to hear me when I click to starting, but when I go to starting, then I can have this background scene as a source and then just push it all the way down towards the bottom so that anything else I put on there is going to be in front of it. And like titles, I'll show you an example of that here. So basically you have your background or whatever you want furthest back at the bottom of the list or farther down the list, and anything you want to be in front of anything else, you would have higher on the list. Poker, he broke it, yeah. Keeper asked me how my setup is, how I do it. And there's a lot of people out there that there's all kinds of things you can do. But OBS, for being free, it's pretty powerful, and with a little bit of imagination, you can get a lot done with it. You can also run media clips, like when I click on this one. Now, if you noticed at the top of that list of sources, there was one that was an MP4, and if it's selected, or if it's visible, then it will, as soon as that that scene is selected, it will activate everything that's active as a source within that scene. But then if I go back there again, since I made it not visible, it'll turn off until I hit visible. So switching scenes is a good way to keep things organized, and if you want to activate things that way. Wow, we're having not great connection today. I hope I don't have to call Mediacom again. Let's see. Currently using HyperX headset with a mic for audio, just altering some audio settings to make it as clear as possible. Yeah, that can be difficult. Some of the better headset mics are pretty good, but you know, you've got to be the judge. Where does the value? Where does the cost benefit? You know, where's the payoff there? What's good enough and what is not good enough? Yeah, but since you'll be building everything, you know, when you get this, I think it comes with nothing here and nothing here. So first you have to create a scene, and then you have to start putting sources in it. If you like with this one, oh, okay, I've got to go here. So like with this one, I've got the camera, and if we go down here, it is Canon, but I have the same camera here. Okay. So it's the same source, but in a different scene. So when you go to add it, let's see, let's do a display capture. So you can create a new something, or you can use something that you've set up in another scene or set up before. Just hit that button and then select. And then like one difference here, like I'm pointing here, and if I go to the small head, am I still pointing the same way? No, I'm pointing the opposite direction, because when I'm running shows, I like to keep this camera in a mirror mode, so that when I point to the left side of my screen, or that's the right side of the screen, when I point to the right side of the screen, I am actually pointing to the upper right corner of my screen, and you're seeing the image of me pointing to the upper right corner of your screen. Yes, that's what's happening. Whereas if I do this one, it's not mirrored, and I want to, oh, look at that up on the upper right corner of my screen. But yeah, I am still pointing to the upper right corner of my screen, but I'm pointing to the upper left corner of your screen. So I like mirror mode to keep that easier. The unfortunate thing is if I'm wearing a shirt that has words on it, then they're backwards or whatever. Scenes are definitely something to work on. Yeah, it's like we can make a new scene. Of course, there's nothing in there, so it's going to cancel the camera and mute the mics. But I can add them, and you can watch me add them. I can't remember which one I used. This looks right. If I look at the filters, yeah, I think this is the one I use. Let's look up here. And okay, Shure SM7b. So it's the same mic connected. I just have two different. I set it up two different times. And then if I add the other one, okay, so this is the one I normally use. And then if I add both of them, I don't know how weird that's going to sound, but, and there's probably a delay process I could put in there as well. But we don't need this scene, so let's get rid of it. So it's not that hard to set up most things. if we look at my mic, I've got a lot of filters on there. Okay, so in your folder structure, you've got scenes. Within your scenes, you have sources, which can be shared among different scenes, but you can only have one scene active at a time. And most sources, there are going to be properties, which is the thing that you're connecting, and to some extent how you want it to work. Like if we do text, and yeah, let's just add this. We're going to have options for what text we're going to type in there, and typically I recommend putting a space before and after whatever words you're going to put in there. You can change your font and size, and usually you're going to want to use a bigger font. Well, let's just see. And I didn't put the space on the end, and that didn't work there. Okay. So that should be right at the top. The scenes add to the bottom, sources add to the top. So looking again at the properties, this font is, I can't tell, oh, it's 256? Yeah, 256. So if we make this 6, wow, that's bad. And then we try to stretch it out, it's going to look like crap. And this looks worse than crap. So you usually are going to want to go with a bigger size, and I guess, well, maybe an example. And, oh, I stretched it too much, so now it's way off the screen. Let's transform, reset transform. Okay, so now it's its natural size. And sometimes, there you go, getting the wrong thing can be a pain in the butt. If we blow it up, you can see it looks kind of fuzzy around the edges, so you'll either get fuzz or pixelation. So using the bigger font, let's transform, reset that again. The thing you'll be using transform the most is if you want to flip your camera, flip horizontal. Is that right? Yeah, flip horizontal. So now that's backwards. Transform, flip horizontal, or fit to screen. Well, it's not fit to screen, it's stretch to screen. Transform, stretch to screen. I think, yeah, fit to screen uses the whichever side, it expands until whichever side gets there first, gets there to the edge of the screen, or your palette, and then it stops. And then if we do this, that was the wrong thing, so I don't know what I just oh, the confetti. So here with the test, if we crop this, oh, this will actually, yeah, so we can do that. And then if we fit to screen, it will probably, since it's text, it might be different, but it will probably, nope, it did an actual stretch instead of a fit. But anything else in there? Okay, yeah, your different colors, borders, opacity. So you've got a lot of flexibility for something that's free. You can also add filters to most things. For like text, if you had if you had an outline here or a background, because you can actually have a background color that will be the shape of that rectangle that's behind it. You could add a chroma key or a luma key, which based on a hue or brightness, darkness, you can create a transparency. A lot of these things I don't understand that well. Crop pad, I don't know. Color key, well, I don't know what the difference between a color key and a chroma key is. It probably does almost the same thing. LUT is color correction or color filtering. It's kind of advanced, something I never use. And then masking, which is something I've started looking into, but I haven't really played with it, so I would be wasting your time trying to tell you about it. Let's get rid of this one. Remove. I keep looking for delete, and it's actually remove. But as you saw with the camera, with the filters, We've got our chroma key with its settings to try to match what's behind me with a consistent color on the screen. Let's see, this is set at 72. So if I make it less similar, it starts including things that aren't that green. And if I make it not similar enough, we start seeing the inconsistencies, and less of it is transparent. So I had it at 72. With the current lighting, this is probably a little more appropriate right about here, 102. We also have color correction, which I showed you before, and just trying to get your skin tones right. This is at -33, so saturation is going to be the amount of color. Whoa, too much. -33. Where are you? Right about there. Okay, I was going to say that's going to be close enough. And then you can shift into the blue or red or green. I can't remember how that works. So green all the way over into blue, purples, and then back into blues again. And oh, I meant to look at that setting to see where it was. That looks fairly human right about there, in my opinion. Let's see, here can. Yeah, and then with the audio, since this microphone needs a lot of gain to reach what would be like a line level for the computer. I just saw it, Shure SM7b. I've got a lot of filters in here. The first one is gain, so I've got 13 dBs of gain, so that's quite a bit of gain. But it's a little bit dirty gain. It adds some hiss or fuzz to the sound. And if we look at I got something going here. So if I'm as quiet as possible, you can see I still have a lot on the audio meter here. If I turn this gain down, then actual silence gets pretty quiet. But the microphone isn't sensitive enough. I'm saying the microphone isn't sensitive enough to pick that up. So what was it? Was it at 13 or no? It was 13. Yeah. So right around 13, we get that going. One thing to watch out for is if you're using multiple scenes and audio sources, a shared audio source like a microphone across those scenes. If you change your filters in one, it doesn't necessarily change your filters in the other one. So you're going to want to go back and make sure that you've got all your levels the same, or you're going to sound different or quieter or louder when you switch scenes. And I have made that mistake, and no one will tell you most of the time, hey, I noticed when you do the thing, there's the problem. And yeah, most people I'm just here to watch, which is fine. Compressors are kind of hard to really but the idea is that I'm not even sure I want to give even a basic explanation because I'm going to screw it up. But it basically amplifies everything up to a point. So like your quieter stuff gets louder, but your louder stuff stays the same. It reduces the dynamic range, and you can overdo it for sure, but you can also... The point is you get a more consistent audio. So if I move the mic around a little bit, and we saw how insensitive the microphone was when I had the gain all the way down, but if I continue to talk, we can see that the VU meter doesn't change too much when I move the mic, or if I get a little bit further away or a little bit closer. But still, if you get right up on it, you're going to want to lower your voice a little bit, because if you just talk in your normal voice, then it's going to peg out, and that leads us to this limiter here. It can still cause clipping with the limiter enabled, but the idea is if something is too loud and it pegs out, it just creates just a horrible noise, or even a pop that anyone who's watching with headphones is going to hate you for. So because my Focusrite doesn't have enough amplification, I need the gain, which creates noise. So I need the compressor more and the limiter. There's also a noise gate you can add here, but I find it a little hard to get just right. And the way I would use this, or the way I have used it in the past, is when I stop talking, we can see that the meter goes down to a certain point. So I can set the noise gate so that if it drops below, let's say 33, or negative 33 here, then it creates an actual silence. The biggest problem with that is when you stop talking, you will still have that line hiss or fuzz there until it hits that point, and then it cuts off, and then people notice it more. They notice it when it's gone. It's like, oh wow, that got quiet, and then you start talking again, and it comes back, and so people, yeah, it's good, but it's bad. You can't win, right? That is the basics. Other than, setting up the way OBS works now and Twitch, you can use your Twitch login information to log into Twitch with OBS, and then it will stream for you. Another way to do it is to get a stream key from Twitch, which isn't that hard to find, and then you can manually enter in your settings. And I don't want to show my settings because I can't remember how I have it set up, and actually, even if I do have a stream key set up, it'll be censored. But that's how you connect to Twitch or whatever streaming service you want to use. And I used to use, I can't even remember what it was called now, Mob Crush, I think. And then another one before that, so that I could stream to YouTube and Twitch and Mixer and whatever else at the same time. So I was hitting multiple audiences. Okay, one other thing. So we saw how with the camera, I took this Microsoft Windows window, and I entered it as a window source. Here we are. So it's in here as a window type, a window capture. And then I use the Alt drag and drop to crop. If you're not careful, you get a little gray bar on the bottom there. Bing! Hopefully I didn't mess that up too much. That looks about right. Okay. And then getting back to it can be difficult. What was I saying? So, like you asked about the chat. The way I do the chat, let's get rid of this one. There we go. And then let's activate this one. This is my second screen. So I will typically have the Twitch site running, which gives me some indication of the viewer count, and it gives me a backup for the chat window in case this chat window, which is also a Twitch product, stops working. But I'll usually have this one here, and I'll have my OBS down here, but I'll have the actual stream focused over it if I'm not messing up. And then if we go to Twitch right here, if we close this, it's still active right here, but we go to Stream Manager, which I believe is, well, let's go here. click on your icon, channel, video producer. It's video producer. So yeah, that's the same one. And then I believe it's this top one here. You can expand this to see what it actually is, Stream Manager. And then where it says My Chat, you can pop this out as a window, pop out. And then the way I have it set up is Twitch Chat, and I believe this is, yeah, we can see from this icon right here, it's a window capture. So that's, oh, I closed it so it freaked out. So Twitch Chat, Firefox, oh, I probably have to select something else first. And then I can go back and fix it. There we go. And I've got a lot going on here. So if we drag the chat over here, I have filters on this. Where did it go? There it is. First of all, you can see I've got red lines and green lines. The green lines are ones that I cropped using the Alt, drag, and drop. The red lines are the natural size of the window. If we go into filters, then the one thing I have in here is Luma Key, which I didn't know about for a long time. Oh, it's wonderful. So with the Luma Key, what you can do is you can basically set it so that whatever's dark disappears or whatever's light disappears, and you can, like right now I've got it so, I mean, you can see over here on the right that this window behind the text is black, and over here it's gray. And if we close this or just move it out of the way, let's add the background again. We can see that that black area, this black area, is transparent, and that's because of that Luma Key, where we have this set up for Luma Max. Luma Min is pretty low. If we move this up, then we start losing our text as well. So where was that? 62? I don't even remember. But you know, you want that to just disappear. You know, when it matches this, then it's transparent. And then the smoothness kind of works the same way, but it's more of a fine tune. That's probably more than you wanted to know. Definitely enough to get you started. Twitch Studio has an integrated chat overlay already, but I was wondering if there's a better way or software to do it. I don't. Oh, that's Twitch Studio. So I've never used Twitch Studio. I think I started with OBS. I might have tried XSplit early on, but I think XSplit you have to pay for. So that makes me think, no, I probably never did. Let's see. What else do we need to know? I will grab image resources from the internet a lot and then crop around the part that I want and paint the rest green, and then use a chroma key like I do for the camera. And and then we get that. Let's do it this way. Gotta find it again. There we go. Filter. So if we deactivate this chroma key, we can see the green screen behind me. And when you're doing an image, getting that solid green or solid blue or whatever color you want to use, you can use a custom color, which is what I have set, because without perfect lighting and everything else, getting this to, I can't even think of the word for it, but to get it to vanish evenly and perfectly, you've got to match the color as best you can. So like what I did is we still have the, we're still looking at this screen, right? I believe so. Anyway, so you can pick a screen color and then you can set that to anything, but I'm going to cancel that. Hopefully I didn't screw it up. Okay, yeah, still good. But it comes with the 3 defaults: magenta, which is sort of what this pink is, and blue, which I have been considering changing this green screen to a blue screen, if I want to spend the money on it, because blue works better with rejecting skin tones. You can, like if you look at my hair, it's pretty funky the way some things get clipped and some things don't. Let's turn that off again, so we can see that my hair is a little bit different there. So these pink panels are supposed to reflect that magenta or pink light towards the back of my head, so that the edges of each individual hair has less reflection from the green and more natural color. It's supposed to be a fix. It doesn't work that well. And blue would probably work better than green as far as separating from skin tones. But, you're still going to have a similar struggle with blue or green. But anyway, the Luma key is how I take this chat window and get this black part to be transparent, and I can put it directly on the scene. And it's kind of hard to read, and a lot of the time I feel like it's just noise on the screen, but I keep it there because I like to put things on YouTube, or export things over to YouTube a lot, and the people on YouTube aren't going to know what people in chat are saying unless I read every line. And even then, it's like, why did he say that? But if you got that little visual cue as well, I just like it to be available for the peoples. What else? If we just go through a quick few here. Oh, so this one is an MP4. Oh, also, oh my God, if you want to spend the money, these and you can get a green screen from Elgato that pops up right behind your chair. The problem with that is the closer you are to your green screen, the more the light that's on you is going to hit your green screen, and it can be difficult to get that separation where you just have an invisible background. There are good how to set up a green screen videos out there, and the lighting and getting everything even is crucial. Let's see. Let's use the big one because it's not backwards. The Elgato Stream Deck. I got the big one. This thing is very convenient. You can set up. So I've got my intro music, my outro music, all of the scenes, and then a few other things here, like my taking a break, which I don't think shows up on this one. Bing. Yeah, so I don't have to search through this huge list of sources when I want to go to break. I just look over and say, hey, I know this one is my taking a break. So that saves a lot of time. You can set up. Did that not work? Okay, it's just quiet. You can set up sounds, you can set up videos. Like this confetti one, I have a basic one where it will just do the confetti, and then I realized that creates a problem, because when the video is over, if we look on OBS, this is still active. So if I hit that button again, all it's going to do, and it's grayed out here, so if I hit that button again, where is it? There it is. It's going to just turn the source off. So now it's ready to use again. But with the Stream Deck, the software that it comes with, you can actually do macros. And so with this button, also a confetti button, if I hit that, it's going to set off a macro that does the same video with the transparent background, as well as play music, start a timer, and then when the timer runs out, it'll deactivate the source. So if we see now the source is off, hit the button, it's on now. And then after a few seconds, it goes back to off. So it's ready to use again. So the Stream Deck is a great tool. It's expensive, especially when you get this big one. I can't remember. I think this was $250 US. But I had done some extra work at work, and so I had some money, and that's how I blew it. But it is immensely convenient. So OBS, Stream Deck, 2 computers on the in the OBS settings. There's one in here that's fairly important. Yeah, using the encoder, having your encoder set up to use the NVENC. If you have an NVIDIA, that will save your CPU from doing a lot of work. Let's see, useful Stream Deck fan. Yeah, the Stream, it's pretty fancy. But that's for the extra large. You can get the one that just has like 8 buttons on it, and I want to say that's between $80 and $100. You can go to elgato.com and it'll be, or I can go to elgato.com. Boop doop boop. Apparently my cap lock is on. Well, that's, there we go. Elgato and products, Stream Deck. Okay, so the Mini. And if we click, oh, so that is $80 for the Mini with 6 buttons. Oh boy. There's also the Stream Deck Mobile, which I believe is a subscription service you can use on your Android or iPad device. The Stream Deck comes with the software that you can use to program your buttons, as well as, you can even make custom. Most of these pictures that I have on my buttons are ones that I made the picture for using its editing software. Other than that, I use Paint a lot. I use Screen Snip. The snipping tool to just grab something, and then I can edit that, and then I can copy it, go over to Paint, or, if you've got a better image editing software, then why not? But snipping tool, Paint, and then sometimes I'll use PowerPoint for image manipulation or to create text, graphical text. I can't remember what they're called now. Word art. But the more I look at word art, the more cheesy it looks. So I try not to do that. Could just get an old keyboard and hotkey, the same functions. That's, I'm not sure how hard that would be. But basically, any kind of triggering device. I mean, if you plug in, I don't know what happens. I've never tried it before. If you plug in 2 keyboards at the same time, it was my understanding that one of them just doesn't work. But I don't know. Maybe you know better than I do. The Stream Deck is fancy. The rest of it is just basics, because OBS, free. And experience and imagination. Figuring out how you can layer things, position things on the screen. Is it that one? There we go. Yeah. So I've got all kinds of things on here. What is that even? Oh, that was from the please subscribe video. 10 years. Yeah. So I need to delete most of these. Just all kinds of things. Oh, this is a fun one. Yeah, and I will use, because you can layer things, and I think I have Photoshop, but I never learned how to use it. So anytime I want to do anything, I've got to watch a video and then struggle my way through it. But with OBS, when I want to make a thumbnail, I just put the elements I want in the the order I want them, front to back, and then I'll use the snipping tool. I'll maximize my OBS, and then I'll use the snipping tool to get that screenshot, and then I'll use Paint to trim the edges perfectly, save that, and upload that as my thumbnail. Let's see. Arduino setup? Probably. Yeah, I'm sure if you're familiar with how to create hardware inputs or modify hardware inputs, then you could save money and not use the Stream Deck. There probably are even free options to the Elgato version where you can create triggers for a tablet device that's connected either wirelessly or cabled to your computer, and use that as a triggering device for a variety of things, whether it's sound effects or switching scenes, activating, deactivating sources. I'm sure there are more economical ways to do it. The Stream Deck just makes it really easy. It's, for what it's supposed to do, it nails it. It's like, you guys, you got it right. So props to them for that. They do a few things, and I think everything they do pretty well. It's like they understand what the user, how the user wants to use it, and they make sure it does what the user wants. Yeah, it's convenient. I was just fine without it for years. I've only had it for 2 months, I think, and I haven't changed anything on it in about 2 weeks, I want to say. But I can. It's not that hard. I can add new function. You may have noticed that I wasn't even using every button, but I can add new buttons. I can create macros. It will switch pages. You can save files for, if you want to do a different style of thing where you're not going to be using the same sources or scenes. So you can save and switch. So that's convenient as well. Why am I selling this thing? It's expensive. What else? I think that's probably everything else. Oh, for let's see, what is it? I can't remember what it's even called now, but it's very popular. Everybody uses it. I thought I had the window open for it, but I don't see it here. It's Streamlabs. Streamlabs, if you connect your Twitch account with the Streamlabs account, then it can create interactive possibilities. Like one here is, I don't even remember what it's called. I think it's called alerts, if I can find alerts. Okay, so here's alerts. If we look at that, hopefully this won't reveal too much. So it tells OBS to look at this URL, because it's a web app, and it will display it. And with the connection, when something happens in Streamlabs, it creates something in, it causes the web app to trigger sound and video and capture information from whatever that alert is and include that in the alert. So yeah, like when someone follows or subscribes or that way we get an on-screen alert, both audibly and visibly. Generates excitement, and it reminds you, hey, something happened, dummy, because it's easy to miss stuff. Yep. I got a lot of extra stuff on here. I need to do some trimming. All right, let me activate these again, or that one at least, before I forget. Game and background. Game and background. Okay. So, and I'm probably going to want this. Where did it go? There it is. I'm probably going to want that chroma key turned on when I do a show. And I don't know if I have time to do a Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I'm going to try to do a Horizon Zero Dawn here in a few minutes. So hopefully that's not too messed up. How do I do that? Let's see. I'll go to background, and then I'll change what elements I want in the background. And then when I go to the starting screen, and then that's basically ready to go. Is that still on? There we go. And my head. So, yeah, once you get used to using it and you think about how can I layer things so I have the things that I use the most often or that I'll use across multiple scenes as a source, then you can use a scene like background as a source. And so we've got background behind everything else, but everything else on this list will show up in front of that background. Yeah, it's kind of the first step towards advanced usage, but it's not that hard. Setting up a scene and then using that scene as a source in another scene is really, really useful once you just allow yourself to do it. I didn't do it for a long time, and then I've got so many games. Okay, that was only 15. But having all of those in this show thing here instead of just one scene that's games, and then I just need to make sure that, well, unless you're running 2 games at a time, it's only going to show the one that actually has content to put up. But it's better to deactivate or hide the ones that you don't want running. It just gives the software less to do. Anything else? Yeah, I used to have one that I labeled as I think it's part of background. But I don't use that anymore. The way I have it set up, I could use this so it only appears in this show scene and it doesn't show up, or maybe in also the interstitial. But sometimes I'll start the show with the game still loading, and crash is a little inappropriate for that. Not offensively inappropriate, but not the right thing. I think that's pretty much it, though. I'll use this single source down here a lot to construct simple composite pictures. 2 elements, one in front of the other, and then I'll do that thing with the snipping tool and paint to crop it. What do we have in here now? So nothing. That's the gist of it. Yeah, and what other kind of sources do we have? Audio input, yeah, browser. Some browser, yeah, the alerts are a browser source if I'm not mistaken. Anything that triggers off of a URL, and I don't see it here now. I thought it was, there it is. Yeah, it's got both this Say It Live, which is a feature no one has ever used, so I'm thinking about just No, I'll just eventually someone will discover it and use it. I think it costs bits to use, so that may be why no one's ever used it. So yeah, that's a URL or a browser trigger color source, so you can put just a piece of color on the screen, which can be used with masking, but I don't remember how. Capture display, so I've got 2 displays and I've got both of those set up so I can hit either one. Game capture, self-explanatory. Image, I think that's self-explanatory. I've never used image slideshow, but if you were going to have something happen on screen like where you're going to be AFK, maybe that's what that would be good for. Media source for like video, scenes. Obviously, we just talked about scenes. Text. VLC video source. I think I've had trouble with this where I couldn't get it to work. Media source works where and I have VLC. I'm not sure why VLC video source has been a problem, and I've also had problems where I tried to use a VLC player and it wouldn't capture it as a window, I think. So that's just another problem. And video capture device, that's what the camera is. And no, actually, if you have a webcam, you'd probably enter that as a video capture device. But if you use window capture on your video capture device, whatever window that's coming or software that's coming in through, then you can crop it the way you want it. You could probably also do that with video capture device now that I think about it. I wouldn't swear to it though. And then groups, I've read about groups, but I've never used them and I've already forgotten how to use them. Depreciated, I don't know what that is. Deprecated. That's about it. Stop and start stream, or you can record, or you can do both. Start virtual camera. I've not looked into that. Studio mode, I believe, just gives you... I've never messed with this, so I really don't know. But I think what happens is you have your active thing up here, and then if you want to switch to something else... Okay, yeah, this stays active, but then if we switch, I think you use this slider to switch. Yeah, there we go. And so now they've reversed, and this is what would actually be going out. Yeah, I've never used it. This would probably be good for me to end the show, because then I could fade to black with like a 1 or 2 second fade out. That would probably work better than just cutting it off the way I do. But maybe I'll mess with that later. That's not one of the things I worry about too much. I just try to be... I just try to do a show where I'm either deliberately being entertaining or I'm deliberately being accessible, I guess. Me, but a me that's a little easier to approach than that guy that's like, you want to tell him his shoelace is untied, but you don't want him to think you're an asshole. So, I try to be deliberately more approachable. And King Akira and I have both said that, like, experience the same thing where we feel like when we're streaming, we're basically still exactly who we are, but it's almost like we're a slightly better version of ourselves, or the version of us that we want to be, or something like that. You just put your garbage off to the side for a minute, and I don't think you're gonna have a problem with that, but there is something about being your authentic self while also being a better version of yourself that's still authentic. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. All right, should we wrap this up? All right, thanks for coming. Like and subscribe. Oh, yeah, another thing is audio levels. I usually have the desktop audio level set lower because when I'm doing things, some people don't want to hear the game at all or want to barely be able to hear it. But if people are watching your show and your show is you talking over the game or whatever else you're doing, commentary, they're going to want to hear you. I figured this would be a little easier than trying to do it on Discord. So, all right, any questions, let me know. And anybody else who's watching this, you know, there are plenty of resources out there. The one I recommend the most is EPOSVox, E-P-O-S space V-O-X. He has an extensive collection of tutorials and how to deep knowledge on OBS, audio, video, live streaming. He is a source not to be missed if you want to engage in live streaming and want to do more than just hit the button and hope it works. He's a really good source. Oh man, anything else, hit me up, dude. It's getting late. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that, especially since I got to fix all this, the Horizon Zero Dawn stream, but I would like to get that today. And if not, this was worth it. Hopefully this is encouraging. Give yourself permission to be bad. Get out there, screw it up, and then just get better. You've got to give yourself permission to get better, or to be. You got to give yourself permission to be bad, or you're never going to be good. Another 2 cents. All right. Love you, Kiefer. Take care, buddy. And everybody else, you know, I'll have World of Tanks here in a little bit, if not Horizon Zero Dawn. So don't stay tuned. Go live your life, and I'll be here later if you want. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you when we see you, because it's always more fun when you're here.